You're trying to grab a few groceries on a 10-minute delivery app, or maybe book a quick domestic flight. You hit the final checkout page, your thumb hovers over the payment button, and suddenly the total jumps. Extra charges, fees, and mysterious taxes have materialized out of nowhere. It's easy to assume you just misread the initial price, but you didn't. You belong to the 88% of online shoppers in India who consistently bleed between 78 and 87 rupees every single month to deceptive interface tricks. 87 rupees might sound like a rounding error, but let's look at this diagram. If we take that small individual loss and multiply it across India's active digital shopping base of 304 million people, the math gets alarming very quickly. Looking at this bar chart, we can see exactly what happens when that monthly extraction scales up. It consolidates into a quiet, continuous drain of 25,000 to 28,000 crore rupees removed from the Indian economy every single year. Regulators have a specific name for the phenomenon driving this massive leak. They call them dark patterns. These are digital interfaces deliberately coded to subvert your autonomy and push you into financial choices you never intended to make. The sheer consistency and scale of these losses point to a pervasive architecture of extraction that operates across the entire digital landscape. To see how platforms extract this money, watch this wireframe of a standard checkout. The first tactic is basket sneaking. Notice how extra items, premium packaging, or charity donations auto-populate into the cart without user consent. Then there is drip pricing. The app displays an appealingly low upfront price, but at the final payment screen, the total price fractures open, revealing handling fees and platform charges stacked beneath the original total at the absolute last second. While you process those numbers, the app deploys false urgency with a fake countdown timer. Right below it, confirm shaming kicks in, pairing a massive accept button with a microscopic, semi-transparent link saying, "No thanks, I prefer paying more." These interface choices work together as an interconnected trap. They take this simple act of buying a product and twist it into a psychological obstacle course built to exhaust your critical thinking. The pressure to deploy these traps is incredibly high in quick commerce. Delivering groceries in 10 minutes requires a vast network of hyperlocal dark stores and an expensive logistics chain. To survive their own brutal unit economics, these platforms desperately need to inflate their average order value. Generating revenue from standard delivery fees simply doesn't cover the immense operational costs. Researchers looking into this behavior found a paradox highlighted in this academic study on consumer awareness. The study examines how frequently Indian consumers encounter dark patterns, their awareness levels, and their ability to recognize deceptive tactics in online shopping, showing consumers still fall for them. The promise of instant gratification induces a severe mindset of time scarcity. The mental weight of needing an item right now creates a cognitive load heavy enough to completely override a shopper's natural price sensitivity. Q-commerce platforms balance their operational books by weaponizing the very temporal urgency and consumer fatigue that defines their service. The November 2023 CCPA guidelines codified these practices as illegal, unfair trade practices, providing the institutional weight seen in this established government body to protect the digital consumer. The enforcement followed quickly. Quick commerce giant Zepto was hit with a 7 lakh rupee fine for utilizing drip pricing and basket sneaking, setting a clear precedent that the rules would be enforced. The crackdown continued to widen. McAfee faced a 1 lakh rupee penalty, and regulators issued nearly 1,000 legal notices to various e-commerce platforms, forcing millions of rupees in refunds. The period of unregulated digital nudging is closing. Deceptive code now carries direct institutional financial penalties. Consumers now have actionable tools to defend themselves. The Department of Consumer Affairs upgraded the National Consumer Helpline, giving shoppers the ability to report platform abuses directly through a dedicated WhatsApp chatbot. They also launched the Jagriti app, where users can directly submit the URLs of websites using deceptive designs, turning everyday shoppers into an active monitoring network. But the most severe threat to the platforms is the market itself. Look at this physical representation of wealth. Frustrated, distrustful consumers are already abandoning digital channels, placing over 55,000 crore rupees in gross merchandise value at risk. India's digital market relies on consumer confidence to grow. To survive long-term, companies must stop tricking users for an extra 87 rupees and focus on building a sustainable, transparent trust economy.